My mother-in-law demanded I give my baby to her, and I agreed. I was 8 months pregnant with our son, and we were at my husband's parents' house for dinner. My mother-in-law cornered me in the kitchen after the meal while I was helping with the dishes. "How are you feeling, dear?" she asked. She never asked me that before. In fact, she usually ignored my presence, choosing instead to dote on my husband, pretending he was single. My husband claimed that I was being paranoid, but I knew what his mother thought of me. "I'm fine," I answered. She frowned and glanced at my swollen belly. "The birth of a child is a wonderful thing. Are you sure you're ready for that?" "Yes, of course." I wasn't sure what she was getting at. She continued, "Give your baby to me. You both are young and aren't ready for children." I stared at her in shock. "The audacity. What are you talking about? Think of the cost it will take to take care of a baby," she said. "You're not ready for this. Give your baby up to someone who is. And you think that's you?" I thought about her words and hesitated, wondering if she was right. I was terrified of taking care of this tiny human. We were in our early 20s and didn't have our lives together yet. Maybe she was right. I sighed and my shoulders slumped. "Fine." I set the dish towel on the counter and left the kitchen, unwilling to be around my mother-in-law any longer. Because of my hasty retreat, I didn't see the smirk that crossed her face. The rest of the night passed in a blur. I barely spoke to anyone, and my in-laws ignored me. Finally, it was time to go home. As soon as we reached our apartment, I grabbed my keys and told my husband I was going out to meet up with a friend. Thankfully, he didn't question it. Guilt filled me as I hopped in my car and drove to the nearest adoption center. I sat in my car for a moment, collecting myself as tears threatened to fall. Was I really about to do this? I wanted to go through the proper channels instead of just giving my baby to my mother-in-law. With a heavy sigh, I climbed out of the car and was about to enter the building when I heard the squealing of tires. My husband's car peeled into the parking lot and he leaped out after barely putting the car in park. "What are you doing?" he cried. The tears began falling quickly and I barely held in a sob. "I have to do this," I said. "Your mother wants our baby." He frowned in confusion. "What are you talking about?" I quickly told him what happened in the kitchen yesterday, and his expression went from confusion to rage in a second. "Come on," he said. "We're going to my parents' house." We got into our cars and drove back to the in-laws' house in a hurry. My father-in-law opened the door and ushered us inside, face red with anger or embarrassment. He led us into the living room where the mother-in-law was sitting on the couch with tears in her eyes. I avoided eye contact with her and sat next to my husband on the love seat. "I guess you know why we're here," my husband said coldly. "I would never ask for your baby," my mother-in-law said tearfully. "You said it," I muttered. "Yes, she did." The words surprisingly came from my father-in-law. He shot his wife a glare and she ducked her head in shame. "I overheard you talking to her in the kitchen." My husband stood quickly, fists balled up at his sides. "How could you? That's our baby. I was just trying to help." She tried to defend herself. "Well, you didn't," my husband snapped. "And what's worse is that you didn't tell me about it and cornered my wife. I don't know who you are anymore. I never believed my wife when she tried telling me you didn't like her. Now I know the truth." He shook his head at her. "Hear this, mother. We're done. I can't stand your entitlement anymore. My wife comes first always, and I won't let you treat her like trash anymore." He turned to me and grabbed my hand, pulling me to my feet. "I refuse to let you be in our child's life. You will not be his grandmother." Then he marched for the door. I paused at the door and glanced back at my mother-in-law, who was sitting still in shock. "I'm keeping my baby," I told her coldly. Then I followed my husband out of the house.